check on Facebook.
I think I can win on the vaccine issue now, not just with teachers, but with everybody.
It's a procedure.
Yes, go.
All right. My name is Kirk Allen. I'm here in Effingham County with Tom DeVore. We were here for a TRO hearing regarding Teotopolis School District. Mr. DeVore, could you give us a little rundown as to why you filed this TRO?
Yeah, once this school year started, this particular school district started with a mask recommended policy consistent with CDC guidance. And then they changed that policy because the governor issued an executive order requiring school districts to implement a mask mandate, and also had the Department of Health and State Board of Education issue guidance that required a mask mandate. And so the Teotopolis School District, under the threat of their suspension of recognition status, again, implemented that mandate under protest. And so I had 3 parents reach out to me wanting to bring an action against the school district, saying that a mask requirement is by definition a type of quarantine under the health law, and it requires the health department to get consent of the parent or a court order to wear a mask in school or anywhere for that matter. And so we brought this cause of action making those arguments.
Now, my understanding, the TRO was granted. What was interesting, was the modified quarantine definition, the administrative code. Could you kind of put that in layman's terms as to exactly, what that meant in today's hearing?
Sure. I mean, what is a quarantine is a question that the court has to consider. And if you go to the definitions of the health code, which is 77 Illinois Administrative Code 690.10, a quarantine also includes the definition of a modified quarantine, which is, again, in the law itself. And it says a modified quarantine includes the utilization of any device or of any procedure which purpose is to limit the spread of an infectious disease. And the judge specifically said that a mask is a type of device by definition under the health code, and as such, the school district cannot compel that upon students. It can only be done by the health department through an order of quarantine that requires consent of the parent or an order of court.
So if a mask constitutes a device under the modified quarantine, what was the second prong of a modified quarantine? A procedure? A procedure.
The definition is either a device or a procedure to limit the spread.
Would a vaccination be a procedure?
Absolutely, a
then
vaccination.
Wouldn't that require a modified quarantine through the health department?
Absolutely, and not only is a mask a procedure, guess what else is a procedure? A test. An invasive test for COVID is also a type of procedure. So actually we have clients, teachers, healthcare workers, etc., across the state that will be bringing these exact same causes of action, saying that a procedure by definition to limit the spread is a type of quarantine requiring an order of the health department. And for these reasons, just as the court said today, a mask can't be required without an order of the health department. I don't believe that a quarantine can include a vaccine or a test for COVID as well without an order, and we're going to find out.
And today's hearing, who was it heard by?
Heard by the Chief Judge of the 4th Judicial Circuit, Douglas Jarman. Again, Judge Jarman resides out of the Montgomery County of this circuit, but he's the Chief Judge of the 4th Judicial Circuit.
How long is TRO good for?
TRO is good for 30 days. The school can file an answer to our pleadings, etc. Within that time, we can see what happens. Now, while this particular order only applies to these 3 children, the school district has a decision to make. Are they going to follow the law? Because the law applies to all children, even though this order only applies to these 3. And are they going to quit trying to force masks on children, which is a quarantine, even though they're not a part of this order? And if the school district chooses not to, on their own volition, apply this across the board, we'll file a class action against the school on behalf of all children.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.